As you make more sales, as you make more money, what are you going to do with that? One of my good friends, Ryan Pineda, he's invested in over $100 million of real estate himself.
I love building brand and business and making money, but you can't forget about the other things. Should I buy a rental property? No, don't save up all your money to buy one rental property that makes you $200 a month. Put that money into Nobody can work out for you. Nobody can have your relationship with God. Only you can do those things. We can definitely delegate business and it can grow without us. How do we have it all?
Now, Ryan has been in the real estate industry since 2010. He's invested in over $100 million of real estate himself. And as an entrepreneur, this is very fascinating, he has 7 different companies that have each generated 7 and 8 figures annually. He's amassed over 2 million social media followers. You might even be following him as well, and has generated over 1 billion with the B views online. He lives in Las Vegas, just up the road with his wife Mindy and his 3 kiddos, James, Olivia, and Judah. Love that name, biblical. Now, before his business success, this is one thing I like about him, he was a professional baseball player. So we're going to talk about skills he developed there and how that's translated in his business world. Played with the A's, Oakland. His desire to share his story, inspire others, and teach others, he calls the wealthy way. Ryan, welcome to Scottsdale. Welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, man. That was a heck of an intro.
I've been on your show twice, man. I got to bring you in here. So I want to talk about this book, The Wealthy Way. Don't Go Broke Trying to Get Rich. That's an interesting title. Why did you write that book, and for whom did you write it for?
Well, I wrote it for entrepreneurs and business people. Essentially, I just kept seeing so many people really putting their career first, and that's what they're told to do. But in the process, kind of losing everything else. I've seen lots of guys get divorced, seen lots of guys lose their families, lose their faith, get out of shape, lose their health, and it's like, man, like I'm all for growing your business. Like I love building brand and business and making money, but you can't forget about the other things. And so it's really a book about how do we have it all?
Okay. How would you, for you, work-life balance? You've got all these businesses. So I know you watching this, or listening to this, you're like, well, how does he have 7 or 8 businesses and a family and have work-life balance? So how do you do that? Maybe give what are a few tips that you could give everybody here?
Yeah. I mean, a couple of tips off the bat would be, number one, how you schedule yourself is real. Like your schedule determines what you prioritize.
Yeah, I like that.
Right? If I just look at anyone's schedule today, I would know what they actually think is important, because what you say is different than what you do.
Sure. Yeah.
So for me, it all starts with that. And I say, you know what? I got 3 young kids. I've been married 11 years. Like faith is important to me. So how do I fit those things into my life first and then build my business and everything else around that? Because the one thing in life that can't be delegated is, your relationships. You can't, I can't be like, hey, somebody go and make sure Jeremy's good. Like
go spend some time with my wife and hug her.
Yeah. Like I hope you wouldn't delegate that. Yeah. So you can't delegate that. Nobody can work out for you.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody can have your relationship with God. Like only you can do those things. But as you know, we can definitely delegate business.
Yeah. And
it can grow without us. So for me, it's like, all right, what are the things that can't be done by anyone else? And so I say, okay, well, every morning I'm going to have my morning routine. I'm going to pray. I'm going to read my Bible. I'm going to work out, do those things.
Okay.
And then at night, I want to spend time with my family. I want to have dinner. And so, for me, the work week is very simple. It's 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. I'm going to have dinner with my family. And then weekends, I'm not going to work. I'm going to just hang out.
So what about the guy out there is like, well, what now that you've got all these businesses, Ryan, you're successful. Yeah, you got employees you can delegate, but what about when you first started? Like, I got to hustle. Everybody's telling me I got to use the hustle muscle. What would you tell to those people?
I mean, what I would say is I built it that way.
Really?
When I was in their shoes.
Yeah.
Like I didn't work 80-hour weeks ever. Right? I mean, I flipped 50 houses while I was playing professional baseball.
That's crazy, because baseball schedule, like what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, back then we didn't have kids. I was married, but 6 months out of the year, I'm in a different state, playing every night, so that was a different kind of lifestyle than what I'm talking today. But I mean, even then, 6 months on the year, you just play baseball. The other 6 months, it's the off season. You kind of just do whatever you want. Right? And so I built my business in the off season, just kind of like building it a little bit at a time, doing a deal here, doing a deal there. But I had to delegate, like even from the beginning, and figure out how I could like scale, because it was like, am I going to shut down this business to go play baseball?
Yeah.
Or am I going to figure out a way for it to keep building
because
without
you're like,
me?
hey, eventually my baseball career is not going to be
Yeah,
there. I'm not
it's
going to
gonna
play
end.
until I'm 45 or 60 or whatever. I'm not Tom Brady necessarily. Love you, Tom. So like you planned your future very very well, because a lot of professional athletes, I don't know how it is in baseball, but I know in football within 3 years most of them are actually broke after they retire, because sometimes they have shorter careers. So why was that so important to you, like setting up your future at a young age because I think a lot of athletes think they're just going to play forever and make all this money. What was going on in your mind to cause you to do that?
Well, for me, it was a little different because I never actually got to the big leagues. So I was playing in the minor leagues, making $1,200 a month.
Yeah.
So
now,
like,
were you single A, double A, or triple A? Where were you at?
I spent a couple of years in single A,
Yeah.
then got released by the A's. Then I
Okay.
played independent baseball for 5 years.
Okay.
So I played
Yeah.
8 years in the minor leagues making no money.
Yeah, no money. So you're like, I got to do something.
Yeah, it wasn't even about planning for the future. It was, I have to make money now.
I have to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I like that. Let's talk. I want to talk about your baseball career, because with everything that I do, the reason why I love sports. I played college baseball. I didn't
know
play-
that about you.
Yeah, I played Division I, Double A, Missouri State.
Okay.
And stuff. So, I look back at sports as really a building block for my success in anything, because I learned teamwork at an early age. I started playing sports like t-ball when I was
Yeah.
like 4 or 5, probably like you did.
I'm going to guess you were a center fielder.
I was center field. I'm going to guess you're second base or shortstop.
I was second base, yep.
God, we just know each other. See how it works.
Yep.
You can just tell. I can tell by personality, the way they talk, the way they walk, and everything. So I believe that playing sports at an early age, it teaches you teamwork, and it really teaches you commitment. Okay, commitment to being great at something, and you can take that commitment in sports and transfer that into business. I know that's what I did with sales. Right? I'm like, okay, my baseball career is over. I'm not going pro. Like, where do I take this commitment and transfer it to that? What do you feel like are the biggest things you learned from sports that really have helped you in your career, your business?
I think 2 things. Number 1 is failure,
Mhm.
right? As you know, in baseball, you fail 7 out of 10 times,
Yeah.
you're legit.
Yeah,
And
so
so
true.
how many times do we fail? How many deals don't we get?
Mm.
Way more than we do,
Yeah.
right? How many marketing campaigns flop? How many
Yeah.
events flop? How many employees do we hire that don't end up working out? Like, so you're just dealing with constant failure.
Yeah.
That's number 1. And then also, too, the failure of finally finding the business that does work.
Right.
Right? Because it's like, man, dude, I tried this business and that business and this business and none of them, but then finally, this one worked, right?
Yeah.
So failure would be number 1. And then I would say just discipline's number 2,
Yeah.
right? Like, can you do the same thing every day,
Mm-hmm.
day in and day out?
Mm-hmm.
Because playing sports it's actually very boring.
Yeah, it is. Tom Brady says it best. He's like, we didn't win the game on Sunday. We won the game the 5 days before in practice.
Yep.
He's like, that's where we won the game.
They run
And I
the
think
same
They
play.
do the same play
over and over.
Same thing. It is boring, right? It's the same routine. Like if you're playing basketball, you're doing lines every day. You're shooting free throws. Baseball, it's long tossing every day, like in the cage. Like it's all these little things that
same.
you do over and over again, and it's that discipline. So you took that discipline, and how did you get like in real estate though? So you're playing baseball, and you're like, hey, I want to do real estate. Like, how did that story start? How did it
Yeah.
start?
So I got drafted in 2010
Mhm.
and I knew I was going to make no money in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what could I do that makes money on the side where I
Mhm.
don't have to like work 9 to 5 and
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I ended up getting my real estate license.
Did you see like an infomercial one day?
No,
or
my
what
mom was
happened?
actually a realtor.
Okay. That
Yeah.
makes
So
sense.
I just talked to her about it. She's like, yeah, I mean, you can work whenever you want. Like it would play out that way. But what I didn't know about real estate was that it's a sales game.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, oh, so people come to you and
You're
they
just like,
use you.
I like the cabinets. Do you like the cabinets?
Yeah.
Hey, you ready to go? Yeah.
like I didn't even understand you had to sell to get people to be your client
Yeah.
and
Get the
negotiate.
listing. Yeah.
Like I didn't understand it. I'm just like, yeah, you sell houses.
Yeah.
So I actually failed
Mm.
for a couple of years.
Okay.
I probably sold 10, 15 houses in the span of like 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And granted, I wasn't super focused on it because I was
Mhm.
focused on baseball.
Sure.
But I realized like this ain't for me, man. I do not like the game of sales.
Yeah.
Like it's
Said
just
every salesperson that was not taught how to sell the right way.
Yep.
Right.
yep, because you get
Yeah.
discouraged
Yeah.
and all that.
Mm-hmm. So you kind of didn't do so well because you weren't really taught how to sell.
Yep.
And now you're like, okay, how did you get into like, I'm going to start buying these properties? What happened?
Hey guys, Jeremy Miner here. A lot of you guys keep asking me really good questions in the comments on how to sell more. So the easiest way to actually get a hold of me is to actually text me way faster. So 480-418-6755. So text me at 480-418-6755, because here's the deal. I started this sales training company to help you finally master sales and persuasion once and for all, which is I know what you want to do. So text me and then let's get back to the show.
So, I fail as a realtor. Then I get released by the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
And
how old were you at the time when you got released?
I was about to turn 24.
Yeah, okay.
And I was engaged.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, dude,
the future's looking bright.
Super bright, babe. I hope you still want to get married because I don't have any, I don't know.
I don't know where
do.
my future's going.
I really didn't.
Yeah.
So, we end up getting married and I end up furnishing the house, or well, not even the house, the little apartment we had. And we didn't have any money.
Yeah.
And I look at the house and I'm like, dude, there's this couch I just bought off Craigslist. There's this bed, this thing. Like I furnished this whole little apartment for $1,000.
Yeah.
I was like, I bet you I could sell it and make probably $3,000.
Really? What caused you to think that randomly?
I honestly think it was just from God. Like a lot of my ideas, I have no explanation for how
it came in your mind.
It came in my mind. I just was looking at it.
Okay.
Because there was back then, dude, people weren't on YouTube talking about side hustles.
Yeah.
This was over a decade ago.
Okay.
There's no TikTok telling people how all these ways they could become an entrepreneur.
Like flipping couches.
Yeah, that was never a thing. So I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it out. So I went on Craigslist, found another couch, brought it to the apartment. My wife was like, why do we have another couch? And I'm like, just trust me. I think it might make some money.
Yeah.
So sure enough, I flip it. I make $200. And I'm like, dude, if I just bought and sell one of these once a day, that's like $6,000 a
loaded, especially as a 24-year-old that's making $1,200 a month.
Bro, so loaded.
Minor leagues, you're like, dude, I'm rich. I'm making $4,000 a month.
Dude, it's super loaded.
Yeah.
So I went with it. I successfully flipped a couple. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to get a storage unit. So that was my first real entrepreneurial business.
Okay. Yeah.
And ended up building it to like $8,000 a month.
Wow.
I thought I was super rich.
Yeah.
And the cool thing was, you asked where I learned to sell. I actually learned to sell from that.
Okay.
Because over the course of the next couple of years, I had bought and sold over 1,000 couches.
Wow. Okay. So you kind of learned from trial and error, like, hey, this works when I say this. This definitely does not work when I ask this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got to have some intention when I lowball. I got to I can't just lowball out the gate. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, I'm successful with that. And then finally, after doing it for a while, I'm like, all right, this is kind of capped and it's not like the best thing. Sure. I don't feel like great this. When people ask me what I do for a living.
I'm a couch flipper.
That literally,
flip couches.
That's what I would tell them.
Hey.
And I'm like, they're like, what? It's like, I don't know that I want to do this the rest of my life. So anyways, I see an infomercial for flipping houses with no money and wholesaling.
Okay.
And so I'm like, all right. I end up reading a book. And I'm like, oh, I'll just flip houses then. So, I max out my credit cards, get hard money loans, do all this stuff to get my first deal.
Yeah.
It ends up working out. And I made $25,000.
Wow. Okay. So that's a big deal. Like, wow, $25,000 in one month or whatever.
Yeah. I'm like, that would be literally 100 couches.
Yeah.
So why don't I just focus on finding houses instead of couches?
Okay.
So that's how it began.
And that's where you started. And where did you read that from like a book? I mean, were there courses you're going through as well to learn the nuances and ins and outs? Or where did you really kind of start learning that stuff?
Yeah. So I found a website called Bigger Pockets at the time. So this was back in 2014.
Yeah.
And at that time, the world was very like anti-coaching because the real estate space had all these big companies that were charging all this money and not fulfilling. And so it had a really negative thing.
Okay.
So Bigger Pockets was like, oh, well, we'll do it for free. And so I read their books and it was enough. Like I was enough of a go-getter to go figure out how to do it.
Try to figure it out. Okay.
Yeah. Because once again, at that time, there weren't any guys like you or me really on YouTube teaching stuff.
Sure.
It was just different.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was how I learned, and trial and error. I mean, just doing it and figuring out what didn't work, what did. And, I buy houses in this area and it worked good. I bought houses in this area.
Would you go back and do it that way again if maybe there was a magical course that could have weeded out the trial and error?
Yeah, like today, with all the resources today, for sure.
Yeah.
It's like significantly easier today.
Why is that so important? Like why not just have people, like for your stuff, right? If they want to learn how to flip real estate. So you're a salesperson, you're like, hey, what am I going to do with this money? How do I make it work for me? And let's say that you want to learn how to do real estate like Ryan. Why not just have them read one of your books and try to figure it out, compared to like, hey, if they go through your course, like there's a big difference. What's the difference?
Well, I mean, number one, most people who just read a book never do anything with it.
Yeah.
You know? So I think you're the exception with all these books you've got.
There's just not a lot you can, I always say books are an overview of what you want to learn, because in any of these books, you're never going to learn the nuances, right? You're just going to learn a lot of theory with a few tips.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, what do you do with theory and tips? Because you could, like for sales, you could ask like a question in this book, but then they say something different.
Yeah.
What do I do next, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't know the
There's no
nuances.
feedback. A book doesn't give you feedback.
Yeah.
Right? So I think coaching gives you feedback.
Mhm.
Coaching helps you through an actual real-time objection that you're facing.
Yeah.
That is the difference between whether or not you get the deal or not.
Yeah.
So it's like coaching and everything else is so
Yeah.
easy to justify, especially when you're in the game of sales.
Well, it's how you retain it, because a book, like, give me an example. I'll give you an example of this analogy. This is for you watching. It's really important for you. You want to listen to this. Tell me your favorite song that if I'm like, hey, sing this song, you could pretty much sing the song. Everybody has a song. I don't care if it's a Star Spangled Banner, but everybody has a song that they pretty much know word for word.
I like a lot of Christian worship, so
Okay.
we'll go with Shall Not Want.
Okay, great. So that song, on average, the average song has about 300 to 350 words.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what's your favorite book? Like a book you've read multiple times. Like, this is like one of the favorite books I have. If it's a romance novel, it's okay. We won't share this on. I'm just joking. Just what is it? What's the favorite book?
I mean, the Bible. for
Okay,
me.
the Bible.
Yep.
Okay. So let me give you an example. So the Bible's a little bit different because obviously the average, it depends on what version of the Bible you're reading, and the size of it will depend on like the average word count on each page, right?
Yep.
So on an average book, any book in here, average book, you're going to have about 300 to 350 words on one page.
Okay.
Now, the average song, same thing, 300 to 350 words. You can remember that song word for word, but any page in the Bible, can you recite word for word every single word on that page?
No.
Exactly. Do you know why you can't?
Why?
Because your brain cannot retain reading words compared to hearing the melody and tonality. That's how your brain retains information. That's why when you read a book right here, the way your brain retains this is within about 2 days, you're going to retain about 19% of what you read. Within about a week, it goes down to a little bit under 9%. Within 30 days, it's 2.7% on average you retain from reading a book, compared to if you heard that song over and over for a whole month, you can actually retain pretty much every word in that song, because the tone, the tonality, and the melody you're hearing cause your brain to retain it. That's why coaching, hearing the tone and the nuances, helps you retain the information compared to trying to read it in a manual.
I did not know that.
There you go.
I'm going to use that.
Brain stuff,
That's
man.
good.
It's crazy, right? Okay, so I was watching one of your YouTube videos this morning, and you talk about if anybody wants to achieve great things in life, like I don't care whatever it is, if you want to have the best family, if you want to be the best salesperson, if you want to be the biggest business, whatever it is, that you have to have a preparation period. What did you mean by that? Preparation period to achieve greatness.
I think a lot of people, right, they just want the instant gratification, right?
Mhm.
They're like, why don't I have a company as big as 7th Level?
Sure.
Why don't I have, all this stuff? Why aren't I big on social media yet?
Mhm.
And it's like, bro, what have you been doing up to this point?
Yeah.
Right? Because I know your story because I've interviewed you.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you've been selling for the last 20
I
years.
had an 18-year sales career as a W-2 employee.
Yeah.
At a really high level.
W2
some say,
guy for 18 years.
before I even started a sales training company.
Exactly, right? I mean, I grinded out in the minor leagues for 8 years making $1,200, but I literally made about 70 grand in 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe less, right?
Yeah.
Over the course of my playing career.
Yeah.
Just grinding it out, hoping to one day make it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people would think, oh, well, Do you regret it? Was it a failure?
Yeah.
No. Like, it's all just part of,
That was your preparation period.
yeah, I'm preparing. And,
Yeah.
all the videos I've ever made, it's preparation for where we're at today.
Well, think about it for a second. Like, had you not prepared in that 8 years, had that dedication and commitment to the craft of baseball, even though it has nothing to do with real estate, let's say you never did that. And let's say as an 18-year-old, you're like, I'm going to go flip houses.
Yeah.
You might
not
not
the
be
same.
here right now.
No, for sure I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Same thing with, dude, I flipped 1,000 couches.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did that play into flipping houses and the rest of these things?
You might not have worked out. You might have never found real estate. So we see that a lot as well. Like we might have a salesperson that sells for us for a year, and that was their first sales job. And now they leave like, I'm going to start my own sales agency or sales training company. You're like, good luck.
You don't know anything.
Good luck. You don't know enough. You don't have enough experience. You don't have enough knowledge. I was in 4 completely different industries, 2 B2B, 2 B2C, completely different than just like coaching sales. So how are you going to train people outside of the industry? So I think it's a lot of like instant gratification. Like, oh, we see this guy and, driving this car, whatever, or we see him on social media. I want to be like that, but they don't understand the decades or the years that person put in mastering their craft before they got to that level.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they get frustrated. They don't get to that level so quickly.
Well, and that's the thing, right? They're not willing to do the hard things for a long period of time where nobody even sees it.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I had 1 good year of sales. I'm ready to, go.
Bro.
It's like, bro, yeah, you. And honestly, too, if they're in a place like this, it's like, well, you're also a product of your environment.
Yeah.
When you got a guy who's putting out so much content and the leads are so good and like, okay, you're going to go do it yourself. Let's see what the leads look like.
You don't know enough content to even put out.
Yeah. You're not just selling anymore.
Yeah.
You're running a whole organization that you have no idea. You were just, one cog of a huge thing.
Yeah. It's valid. Like when I had my corporate career with my first company, I just saw all these owners, they had all this stuff and everything. And I didn't understand what it actually takes to run a business. I didn't understand the overhead. I didn't understand the hours, just the little ins and outs. And until you actually start a business, you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
You think it's easy.
Why am I making 10% when they're making 90? Like, well, they spent, hundreds of thousands on marketing to get you those leads. And then, that we have to fulfill on the thing you sell.
We have to pay all the employees and operations too. We have to pay the finance team. And, there's a marketing team we have to pay and everything. Okay. So I want to talk about, where did you learn how to sell to distressed property owners? Because it's one thing learning the nuances.
Yeah.
Right? Like how do I get the money and how do I get the funding and all that stuff? It's another thing to be able to actually call a homeowner, a distressed property owner, and do that. Where did you learn how to do that?
Well, what's interesting is I've learned throughout, we've coached thousands of students for house flipping and wholesaling and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Most people aren't very good at going direct to seller and talking to them directly. Like most people get their deals from other people who do that, so they'll buy from a realtor who did the work. They'll buy from a wholesaler who did the work.
Right.
They'll ask for referrals and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually what I did for my first, probably 80 deals.
Okay.
I didn't go direct
to
to seller at all. I was just like, let's make relationships and get deals that way. But in 2018, we started doing cold calling and texting and all this stuff going direct to seller. And all of a sudden it's a different ball game. Yeah,
they're not so warm.
They don't want to hear from you on these cold calls. 99% of them are telling you to screw off and all these things. So like we learned cutting our teeth that way. That was number one.
Yeah.
And then number two was I started doing inbound marketing too. So I started running TV commercials and all these things. And so that was a different sale than the cold calls.
You innovated that because was there a lot of people?
No, nobody was really doing that.
Yeah, that's an innovation you did for sure.
Yeah. And with that, I realized, we can't close these people over the phone the way we were with other forms of marketing.
Yeah.
So now I had to start going on in-person appointments. And that was a whole nuance of like going and looking at someone's home and building rapport.
What do I say? What do I ask compared on the phone? Yeah.
So it took a lot of trial and error. I hired coaches and other people to help out, at that time who were in the real estate niche. And so that helped.
Learn from, and that's what I always say. This is really important for you watching this or if you're listening to Ryan and I, is what I found and what I've always heard is that the most successful people in life in anything, they don't necessarily learn from their mistakes. They actually learn from other people's mistakes so they don't make the same mistakes themselves.
Yep.
And why do they do that? It's speed to success, right? They don't want to wait years or decades to figure it out on their own. How is that the mentorship, the people that you hire to teach you the nuances helped you get to where you're at?
Well, dude, I mean, it was incredible, right? Like, so in 2018, when I first wanted to go direct to seller, I didn't even know how to market. So I hired a guy to teach us how they were cold calling and texting.
Right, yeah.
So he taught us that. Then I realized we were missing another piece now, the sales. We were like, oh, we're getting leads, but we're not converting.
We're not closing it. Yeah.
So then I go to a sales guy. He teaches us how to sell. Then boom, all of a sudden,
you're
it's
successful
rolling.
quickly rather than like, oh shit, let's burn through money and then hopefully it works out years later.
And also, too, I had enough awareness to say, yeah, I've done 80 deals and I've made great money, but I don't know these skills.
Yeah.
Like, let me trade money for time.
That's exactly what it is, right? You don't want to learn from your mistakes.
Yep.
You want to learn from this other person's mistakes. You don't make them yourself. I think that's why the mentorship and the coaching, that's what I always did. Like as a salesperson, when I was younger, in my younger years, I was buying every course I could. I was like the seminar junkie on the weekends. I'm going to like every sales training thing. And some of it was just total BS, like just hardly got anything from it. But there'd be like that one little nugget. And I'd be like, oh, that's a really good question that they're asking. It would work better if I changed this word and actually asked that in more of a concerned tone in that context. And I started to develop those skills by just sometimes learning BS that wasn't really that great, but it would trigger an idea, right? It triggers an idea and you're like, oh, I could do it this way and it would work better, and it stimulates your brain. And I find that a lot of coaching, even if it's, like I said, maybe it's not the greatest from some people, can actually simulate your brain where you can come up with some really good ideas as well, if you're dedicated to it, if you're going to do something with it. Okay, so you've got several companies. This is a question that people wanted me to ask you. How do you manage so many businesses? Because you've got salespeople selling for those businesses. How does your corporate structure look where you're able to like do that and function where there's not chaos?
Yeah. So I think corporately structured, we have a parent company, which I would say is just like all the resources. So we have my COO, finance, the marketing department.
So like a top go, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And, so they manage, they kind of have all the resources for the company. And so, each then company has its own leadership. So, with my house flipping and wholesaling, we got a leader in there. For our apartments and fund, we got a leader in there. So you have like
somebody that runs each business?
Each unit.
Okay.
Education, we got someone there. Lead generation.
Is that like a COO or like a CEO or what?
We call them BOLs, business unit leaders.
Really? Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Business unit leaders. All right.
So that's kind of our designation for them.
Okay. What would you give? You got salespeople in these organizations. What would you, for our sales managers or VPs of sales, or even you're a salesperson, you're like, hey, I want to get promoted. I need to learn how to build culture. What are maybe a few things you've learned as an organization that really have helped you build such a good sales culture where your salespeople are thriving?
I think there's a couple of things. One is, man, you got to track people. This is the biggest problem that even we struggle with is like, man, if you're not tracking the things that lead to success, then they don't have success, right? So whatever you decide are those things, whether it's the amount of offers you make, the talk time, the dials, whatever it is.
Okay.
You got to hold
metrics. You got to understand
you got to know that metric.
Metrics,
Both what I would call a precursor metric, which would be that, and then the result metric that you're looking for. Hey, how much revenue did you bring in? What was the cash collected? Whatever, right? So I think you got to have metrics. I think the second thing is you got to always train them. I mean, this is what we've also been I'm basically naming all my mistakes and what we should do better, right?
That's good. Learn from his mistakes. You don't make the same mistakes yourself.
Yep. So they always need training. And it's funny because, like, once again, salespeople get mad to hear the same thing over and over again, right? It's like, dude, I know Jeremy's going to tell me about tonality.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, but it's not like you're going to invent some new thing.
Yeah.
Like what works.
Yeah.
You just have to be reminded of it.
You have to keep learning because you stray, right? You stray some stuff.
You develop bad habits without even realizing it. And you're like, why am I in a slump?
It's like it's like the analogy of the boiling thing with the frog, right? It's like the frog, the water's just like cold and then it goes lukewarm and warm and all of a sudden it's like frying. It didn't realize that, what was going on, because you just start to stray and you don't really know what's going on. You stray. When I first started as a salesperson in door-to-door sales, same type of thing, because it's harder to track that because you're not on recordings.
Yep.
So salespeople, when I was a VP of sales, when I got to that point, it was really hard to track that stuff because, if you're on a call or Zoom, you can hear it, right? You can understand that. But as a door-to-door salesperson, it's not really tracked as well because they're not counting how many doors they knock on per day, how many times they talk.
No.
It's a different thing. So do you guys record calls? Do you have people that go through them to help, or what do you guys do with that?
Yeah, so right now for training, we train at least once a week. And really, I think they should train every day in some way. But right now, once a week, group training.
Yeah.
And, they'll pull calls, play them in front of everybody, analyze it, all that good stuff. And then, he'll also have individual meetings when needed with people, right? So we do that for training. And then I think the last piece, like you said, is culture.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, what is our culture with the sales team, right? I mean, our culture has never been the boiler room kind of sales team.
Sure.
Because it's not me.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm not going to sit there and dial for 12 hours. Like, our culture is, hey, I want everyone here at the office by 9. Everyone can leave at 5. That's what I do.
Yeah.
It's all good. But hey, while we're here, dude, you better freaking be working.
Yeah.
Like, you want to enjoy not working the weekends and being done at 5?
Yeah.
You better put in the work.
Income producing activities.
Yeah.
Right. If you're sitting around half the day walking around, complaining, looking
Doing
at your
stupid
emails,
crap.
if you're working like 8 hours straight, you get far more done than the guy that sits there for 12 hours that kind of diddles around.
100%.
I've seen that. Okay, so I want to talk to you about what type of starting your own thing. Like, what type of mindset do you feel like you have to really scale, like really grow your business? Like, how's your mindset maybe developed over time and changed to really help take you to the next level?
I mean, there's a lot of things. I think one is it just starts with dreaming big.
Yeah.
I was talking to Tommy Mello, who, I'm going to go see later today. And he's talking about building, like $100 billion business. And you're just like, wow, dude.
He's acquiring these smaller companies and taking their EBITDA way up and then rolling up into a fund and going public. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, like he's thinking so massive, and he's already massive, but that's why he's where he's at today. Right.
Yeah.
And so you're like, all right, first off, you'll only go as far as your dreams. So that's number one. Number two is just like, okay, well, now that I kind of like have this idea, I mean, what does it take to be the biggest, real estate, let's just say real estate education company in the world? Like, okay, what is the goal? Okay, if that's the revenue goal, how could you reverse engineer to make that happen?
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying it's a goal for me, but like, if I'm gonna set a goal, I got to first think big,
you have to have a vision,
and reverse engineer.
Yeah.
So, that's the second thing. You can now come up with a plan that actually gets there. The numbers do pencil out. It is possible.
Yeah.
If
if somebody's done it before,
it can be done again.
It can be done again. Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
And it actually should be done better because we have way more technology and all these things today than they probably have.
Exactly. 100%.
So I think there's that. And then I think the third thing is you really now need to develop a new skill set that most people don't have. So like if you're a salesperson and you're really good at sales, I mean, that's one skill. But being really good at leading a sales team is not the same skill.
It's a different skill.
Yeah. And so I think for me, it becomes how good are you at developing other leaders? Because they're going to dictate how far the company goes.
I think that is I think once you hit about 40 million a year in revenue in most businesses, it's different in some type of industries, but let's say this industry, once you hit $40 million a year in revenue, to get to the next level, to go to 100 million a year, it's all about your leadership team. It's literally all about the people you're going to hire that are going to lead to get to the next level. I think it has to do a little bit with systems. I think from 20 to 40 million systems, but I think to go to the next level, it's your department head leaders. Do you trust them enough to make actual really good decisions because they know how to do it, they've done it before, or they just a body you're throwing in there because you don't really know what you're doing and they don't have any leadership experience? That can also kill that department.
Yep.
That's a big thing. Things that I've learned from some of my friends that, like Tommy, that, is doing 400 million a year. He's like, the biggest thing was going from 40 to 100 to 200 was the leaders, the department heads. That was make or break, right? You have a bad department head, you're going to have a bad department. It just kind of filters down. One thing that you talked about, I was just watching this on another IG reel, is you said that you should risk everything when you're young. What do you mean by that? Because we got a lot of young people here listening to this. What do you mean?
Yeah, so this is a really good thing. Young people have nothing to lose, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if you fail, even if you go bankrupt, lose all your money.
At 23, yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll be fine, like literally tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, you almost have nothing to lose. And I mean, there's so many aspects to this, but for everyone listening to this, not just young people, today is literally the easiest day of your life. It will only get harder from here.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really think about it and what happens as you get older, right? Your body doesn't get better.
Yeah.
Your knees hurt a little more.
Sure.
You have less energy. Your testosterone's going down. Like everything gets harder as you get older, right? Physically. But also, too, you now add all of this stuff that you never had before, right? I got 3 kids. I got a wife. So, even if somebody's financially sound or not, if you're not financially sound and you're paycheck to paycheck and you got 3 kids and a wife, you can't afford to take as much risk as the young guy who has nothing to support or whatever, right? You also have less time. It's like, man, my kids, they got sports games. They got other things I want to be a part of. Like, I didn't have to do that when I was single. I didn't have to do that when we were married and, we had no kids. Or even right now in this stage where my kids don't go to school yet. They're all young. Yeah. But I know once they do that, my time and everything's going to change.
Sure.
So no matter where you're at in life, today's the best day.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
And for the young people, what young people don't realize is, number one, they're like, most of them are so scared to take a risk and fail.
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, you are the biggest idiot ever.
Yeah.
Like you should risk every dollar, max out every credit card, do anything possible to try all these things.
Yeah. And I would say do that while you're learning skills. I think I see a lot of people who are just like, I'm just going to go invest everything. And I'm just like, whoa. Maybe learn some stuff here as well. Get some courses. Like, I think the biggest investment young people need to make in themselves is like learning skills.
Yeah, that's a good point. So there's actually a hierarchy of how you need to invest your money and time. Yeah. First is in you. That's skills.
Learning skills, man.
Right? So that's easily, people are like, should I buy a rental property? No. I'm the real estate guy.
Learn how to do it first.
Yeah, I'm telling you, don't buy a rental property. Don't save up all your money to buy one rental property that makes you $200 a month. Yeah. It literally will do nothing for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Put that money into you first.
Yeah.
The second thing you should put it into is then, if you're an entrepreneur, which a lot of people are, your business. Yeah. Like, okay, how do I put this into can I spend some money on marketing? Can I hire a person? Can I get some softwares? Like, invest it into like everyone at this point, I would say has like a side hustle or something going on.
Sure.
So invest in your business. That's the second best thing. Then the third becomes these other investments we're talking about.
Passive investments. Yeah, 100% number one investment you can make. Look, if you're a salesperson, what's the number one investment you should be making every single week, every single month to make more money? Your skill level. 100%, right? Because if you don't have the skill level, nothing else will happen after that. You won't be able to buy the real estate properties. So you got to invest in your skill level. You learn how to sell more. Then you go out and buy those things to learn how to do that. So always skill level first, and then investment second, I would say.
Well, even like, I know sales isn't a ton of logical, but like from a logical perspective, if you're a salesperson, say making $100,000 a year, right? You save up money, you're like, I could buy one rental a year. It's going to make me X. Well, if you take that same money, invest into yourself. Sure. Okay. You don't have the rental, but your skills increase. Next year, maybe you make $200,000.
Yeah. Exactly.
You make $300,000. That's going to make you way more than. And guess what? Now, because you're a savage, you're making more. And now in year 2, year 3, you can buy 3 rental properties.
Exactly.
But it starts with you doing the investment into yourself first.
100%. What would you say to somebody that's in their 30s or 40s that maybe is living paycheck to paycheck and they've got the kids, and their excuse on why they can't learn how to invest in real estate or can't learn how to sell is like, I don't have time, Brian. I've got 3 kids. Like, you don't understand. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I don't have any money to invest. What would you say to them?
Yeah. So they have a better argument than the young single people. I should never hear a young person saying, I don't have enough time.
Yeah, sure.
That's not true. But yeah, for those people, I do feel for them because it is true. You have less time, but you can always make time. right?
Yeah, it's like I always say the thing, like people are like, "Oh, I don't have time to learn how to sell more." I'm like, "Well, what do you listen to in the car while you drive to work?"
Oh yeah.
Oh, you listen to like CNN, you listen to Fox News, you listen to like your favorite cool song. Like, how much money is that making you? Oh, okay. So it's not that you don't have time.
Yeah.
It's just you haven't learned what's the top priority to invest your time in.
Yeah. Everyone has 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't change for anyone.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I got 3 kids.
Yeah.
I got a wife. I
Yeah.
got lots of businesses.
Yeah.
I got to make content.
Yeah.
I got to go, serve and
Yeah.
throw event. Like,
Yeah.
but I'm still making time to learn.
Yeah, that's where I learned how to sell. Like, I didn't get up at 3 a.m. for 3 hours straight, just sit there and watch sales training stuff. Like, I might be ironing my shirt, and for 5 minutes, put it on where I can hear it, right? And then 10 minutes while I'm eating my Wheaties, and then 15 minutes to work and 15 minutes back. And I go to the chiropractor at lunch. That's 12 minutes there, 12 minutes back. And then, at night, maybe I go to grocery store, and all of a sudden I just learned. I had an hour that day. I learned more sales skills.
I forgot to mention that I did learn real estate while I was couch flipping doing that.
Yeah.
I was driving about 2 to 3 hours a day,
Yeah.
like picking up, delivering,
Yeah.
and I would just listen to podcasts 2,
Dude,
3 hours a
and
day.
Exactly. There's a podcast courses and stuff. And that's
Yep.
where you got that into your subconscious mind.
Mhm.
And so I always say the biggest database in the world is your subconscious.
Yeah.
You literally can put everything in there. However, you've got to hear it over and over again for it to stick. And it goes from your subconscious, your big database, into your conscious when you least expect it. So all those hours you're driving around for, let's say, a couple of years, you were just storing all that data up there. And then when you needed it, you're like, oh, I remember how to do this now, because you listened to it over and over again. If you had not done that, you just listen to music the whole time, which I love music, you probably wouldn't be where you're at right now.
No chance.
Exactly, 100%. Okay, a couple other questions. Why is it so, what would you say are the 3 biggest mistakes that you see entrepreneurs make in your mind? What are the 3 biggest mistakes you see out in, not even your industry, it could be anything, but what are the 3 big mistakes you see over and over again?
First would be easily a lack of priority. So we just talked about that, but not even understanding what is the highest priority activity.
Yeah.
Because you'll get people who are like answering emails, doing $10 an hour tasks, thinking they are productive because they're busy.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, bro, no, you're not doing anything that's helping your business.
You're busy on the wrong thing.
Yeah. So being unable to prioritize really what's important. That's number one. Number 2 would be just fear. They're afraid to make mistakes. They're afraid to test and try new things. I mean, my marketing team, and I'm sure yours is the same way, nothing is off limits. We're just like, yo, test it.
Yeah.
You got an idea, test it.
Yeah.
Odds are it's not going to work.
Yeah.
But if it does,
Yeah.
the rewards are
You don't know
amazing.
what you don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So fear of failing.
Yeah.
Like because I don't know, that's at the core of every human being. The reason why a prospect doesn't buy from you, the reason that they have objections, the reason why they procrastinate, or whatever it is as a human being, we all have a fear of change. That's what it all comes down to. We just all have a fear of change. Even though we might not like what we have, we feel more comfortable with it, more familiar with it, because it's more familiar to us and we know it.
Yeah.
Over something that change is, we don't see what's on the other side of the mountain.
Yeah.
Right? So we don't see what the change looks like on the other side. And so it's our job as sales professionals, everybody watching, listening to this, to help that prospect overcome that fear of change, right? It's like let's say your grandma's a chain smoker, and we always argue with grandma, like, why are you smoking? It's so bad for your health. But she never was. She never changes, because we're telling her, right? And not like she loves to smoke, but it's familiar to us, right? And she doesn't know what's on the other side of that change, right? And so think about all the times where you were maybe afraid to change. You did it anyway. You overcome your own fear. And then what did you find on that other side of change? Everything you wanted, right?
Exactly.
And it's the same thing in life. We have that fear of failing. We're just going to stick to what we know, even though we might not like it, right? But it's familiar to us, okay? And then once we overcome that fear, we get on the other side of the mountain, we're like, wow, it's way better over here. I just never thought it would be.
Yeah.
What would be the third thing you'd say?
Third thing I would say is, in today's world, the biggest problem is shiny object, because they just don't stay consistent doing the thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, let's say you're in 7th level and you prescribe them this plan. You're like, bro, I need you to have, I don't know, 4 hours of talk time a day, like
Sure.
to hone your skills, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is boring. There's got to be a faster, easier way to do this. And it's
sure.
like, no, there's not.
Yeah.
You need to do this
Yeah.
for like the next year.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So true. Well, I think it's even when you start a business, and I experienced this, it's different from being a salesperson, working for a company and like a corporate executive, than starting your own thing, because now all the pressure's on you. You got to fund all, if it doesn't go well, like you could go bankrupt, all that stuff. And I remember when I started 7-Level in 2018, like the first year we did like 1.3 million in sales. And people were like, wow, that's really good. No, because I spent 1.9. So I lost 600,000 the first year in business. It was me and my assistant. We did like 4 webinars, had no idea what I was doing. I was just like, oh, you know how to market? Here's 50 grand. Oh, you know how to do that? Here's 100 grand. Just taking everybody's like, oh, they must be experts because they say they are, right? And I learned it probably like you did after about a year. I'm like, okay, so a lot of people that say they can do things, these outside vendors really can't do the thing that they say they can do.
Yeah.
And so, nobody knew who I was till really 2021 when we started running ads, right? So you're talking 2.5 years of just doing the thing day in and day out, hardly any traction.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, boom, then there's traction. But I think a lot of people don't realize that it just takes a while sometimes.
Yeah, you got to stay with the process.
Yeah. For you, like what caused you to stay with the process and stay so committed?
I think once again, it goes back to sports.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, I did this for 28 years.
Yeah.
The same thing. I hit off a tee. I warmed up the same way. I threw the same way. I trained the same way. I lift weights the same way today that I did then. I'm just as strong today as I was then.
Yeah.
And I haven't played in 7 years.
Yeah.
I just I see a golf book. I hit bombs on the golf course now.
Yeah.
So it's just like, at the end of the day, you have to. I see it time and time again. Like, why do you see guys who are always in shape or out of shape?
Sure.
And I'm just like, I watch it and people don't realize. I'm just like, how are you so inconsistent
Up and down
that this keeps happening to you?
Well, I think you see a lot in this. I don't want to call it the coaching industry. You'll have like a person, like an influencer, and they get really big in this, and they're promoting this one thing that they're known for, and then all of a sudden, like 2 years later, there's this long post like, yeah, I never really liked what I was doing, and blah 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 blah. And now I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And now they're promoting something completely different, and I'm like, what is going on? That makes no sense. And I think it confuses the market, because they're like, and I think it causes the market not to trust them, because they're like, wait a minute, you were saying that the thing you're doing the last 2 years is the best thing ever. Now all of a sudden a post comes out that you're really depressed and never really liked it. And now your true passion is this, and now you want us to buy this. And I see a lot of those people that do that. They don't really, it's like they don't have a vision. They didn't start it for, like a vision of where they want to go. They didn't start it to really help people. It was more like, I just want to make money, and now I want to make money in something else. What have you seen?
Same thing.
Yeah.
And what I've actually come to really respect are now the guys who have had super long longevity, right? Like, I mean, you and I have not been in the coaching space that long in the term of these other guys, right? I started in 2018 as well.
Yeah.
Now, like even guys like I've hated on, and now I really respect, and could be friends, but like a guy like Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
Right?
Consistent.
Super controversial in terms of many people hate him, many people love him.
Yeah.
But the dude's been doing it for like 40 years straight.
But you know what he does?
What?
You wouldn't be confused on
what he does. His message has never deviated.
Exactly.
He's like, I don't care if you gave me 0%.
Yeah.
I'm not taking it.
Yeah.
No debt.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, like, then look what he's built.
Yeah, sure. Tony Robbins.
Same thing.
You know what Tony does. If I think of real estate, I would think of you, because that's what you do. Now, you might have some other stuff on the side, but this is your
the main thing.
This is the main thing. You're not jumping around from different main things like every year.
Yeah.
Right? If you think probably of Jeremy Miner 7th Level, you would think sales training. You wouldn't think like, oh, they're a fitness company.
And you might do real estate on the side.
Sure.
You might invest, but you're not all of a sudden like this real estate
I'm a
guy.
real estate guru now, because I've got 7 homes or whatever, and I've read 3 books. So Ryan, this is a great interview. So how can people learn more about what you do, your coaching services? I know we have a lot of sales professionals and executives. Hey, they're making big dollars in sales and stuff, and maybe they just don't know where to put their money, or maybe they want to invest in real estate, they just don't have the skills. So where can they learn the skills?
Yeah, I would say go to wealthyinvestor.com.
Okay.
They can go check out what we do.
Yeah.
And I would say, like, for any salesperson right now, right? I mean,
Mhm.
Whether you choose to just be a real estate investor and buy rentals, or you're trying to get in an industry where you can sell higher ticket things,
Mhm.
real estate's the best. I mean, like
Yeah.
all these sales guys, like our best people, especially students, are
Mhm.
those who come from sales backgrounds. They're
Mhm.
car guy, they're whatever, right?
Mhm.
They start using those skills to go get deals,
Mhm.
and now all of a sudden they go from 100,000 a year career to something that can make them $1 million
Sure. Yeah.
with the same exact skills.
It's the assets. I started doing that probably back in 2011, 2012. I started investing, my commission checks into assets, that are still paying off with Airbnbs and different things like that. I'm a short-term investor with Pace, my friend Pace
Yep.
Morby. I'm like, you need money for 90 days? Here you go, get a
Yep.
return. I love that kind of stuff. Ryan, it's a pleasure having you on. And look, I know a lot of you guys have questions for me about, hey, Jeremy, how do I sell more for my industry or whatever? So the easiest way to get a hold of me, because sometimes I don't respond to comments, is simply to text me. So I'm going to give you the number to text me at. It's 480-637-2944. So 480-637-2944. Go ahead and text me your question. Try to keep it sales related. I've had some awkward questions that have nothing to do with sales. So text me your sales questions and I'll get back to you. Ryan, thanks for being on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay.